Hi students, this is activity 58, the causes of climate. It is a reading activity. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll be reading the learning targets and then reading the activity. So you can either listen to it or you can read it on your own. The focus today is what are the causes of climate. Our learning targets are, or essential questions. The sun is the major source of energy for phenomena on Earth's surface, including ocean currents, winds, the water cycle, and other factors that influence weather and climate. Factors that influence climate include the heating and cooling of land and water, ocean currents, latitude, elevation, landforms, and global wind currents. Oceans have a major effect on climate because water in the oceans hold a large amount of heat. I'm going to walk us through on the introduction, and then I'll be reading it to you. It says climates are described by the same conditions used to describe weather, such as temperature, precipitation, and wind. You now know that oceans have an important effect on climate, but oceans are only one of the factors that influence climates. In this reading, you will find out what other factors cause places to have different climates. Our challenge question today is, why do different parts of the world have different climates? Think to yourself, how is weather similar and different from climate, which you've already discussed? What types of measurements do meteorologists use to describe weather? And what types of measurements do climatologists use to describe climate? Because they are different. We're going to be using something called the DART strategy, which is directed activities related to text. And I'll stop and ask you to record the answers to the questions in the book throughout this recording. So let's begin. You examine a map of climates in the United States in Activity 53, Weather and Climate. You may have noticed that the southern part of Florida has a tropical climate with warm temperatures and lots of rain year-round. The northern part of Florida has a mild climate with much cooler winters. Why does climate vary so much from place to place? Many factors influence climate. Some factors, like the energy from the sun, are global and affect climates in every part of the earth. Other factors, like landforms, affect local climates. Energy from the sun. The most important factor affecting the Earth's climates is energy from the sun. The temperature of a place depends a lot on the sun's energy because some parts of the Earth's surface receive more intense sunlight than others. Some of the Earth's warmest climates are along the equator. In general, the areas around the equator receive more of the sun's energy, while the north and south poles receive less. In Unit F, the Earth in Space, which you will study next year, you will learn why this is so. The result is that areas around the equator have warmer climates and areas around the poles have colder climates, as you can see at the left. Let's stop to think. Imagine holding a tennis ball in front of a heat lamp for 5 minutes. What do you predict will happen to the temperature along the equator of the ball compared to the top and bottom? Stop and record your answer. The role of oceans. Another major effect influencing the Earth's climates are oceans. This is because the water in the oceans holds a large amount of heat. Ocean currents transfer this heat from one part of the earth to another. Some surface currents move water as warm as 25 degrees Celsius, while other currents move water as cool as 10 degrees Celsius. Look carefully at the map below, which shows both warm and cold currents on the ocean surface. The temperature of ocean currents affects the temperature and moisture content of the air. Warm surface currents heat and moisten the air above them. The warm, moist air is carried to different parts of the world, where it makes climates warmer and wetter. Cold surface currents cause air to become cooler, resulting in cooler climates. The movement of ocean currents depends on heat from the sun. Without the energy from the sun, ocean currents would stop, and climates all over the world would be very different. Let's stop to think again and answer these questions. Which coast of the United States is warmed by warm ocean currents? Which coast of the United States is cooled by cool ocean currents? Make sure that you are looking at the figure. Do you predict that the climate of southeastern states along the ocean, such as Georgia and North Carolina, would be warmer or cooler without ocean currents? Explain. Be sure to stop and record these in your science notebooks. Factors affecting local climates. In Unit C, Erosion and Deposition, you learn that the shape of the land and its closeness to water vary from place to place. Some features of local topography can affect climate. These include the presence of large bodies of water, the height of land above sea level, and large landforms such as mountains. In Activity 55, Heating Earth's Surfaces, you investigate the differences between the heating and cooling of land and water. You observe that water heats and cools more slowly than land. The climates of land areas that are near large bodies of water are affected by this difference in heating and cooling. In general, land near a large body of water will have milder summer and winter temperature than a similar area of land that is not near a large body of water. The height of land above sea level is called its elevation or altitude. The altitude of a place can affect its climate. Land at higher altitudes is usually colder than similar areas of land at lower altitudes. Tall mountains provide a good example of the effect of altitude on climates. Sometimes their peaks are covered in snow or are very cold, while their bases, hundreds of meters below, are hot. For example, Africa's Mount Kilimanjaro, shown above, is very close to the equator and has a tropical climate at its base and glaciers at its peak. Landforms such as mountain ranges, hills, and valleys can also affect climate. When winds blow toward mountains, the air is pushed upward. As the air gains elevation, it cools and begins to release moisture that is in the air. This released moisture often forms clouds and then rain or snow. Because of this, the side of the mountain that is facing the most common wind direction is usually wetter, while the other side is usually drier. Here's a stop to think. What 3 factors affect local climates? Which of these factors do you think affect your local climate? Be sure to record this in your assignment notebook. Your science notebook. Climate and weather are results of complex interactions between the sun's energy, surfaces on the earth, and the atmosphere. Today, many scientists are concerned that human activities are also affecting climates worldwide. Because of the number of factors that influence climate, it is not easy to determine if one factor is causing more change than another. Climatologists and other scientists study Earth's climates in order to answer such questions. Now that we've ended, go ahead and take some time to also answer the analysis questions 1 through 4, including the reflection in your science notebooks.